Hey, yo!
You can hear me, everything good? And
Yes,
all that
yes,
kind of
yes.
stuff? All right, sweet.
Amen to that. So, you know what it is? It's the Eccentric Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Pacheski. Today is a very special episode. This is our 5th episode, and we're doing something very different. We have a special guest. He's usually behind the camera, behind the scenes, conducting research and helping out with the production. This is Bryce Simon, aka BS. Yeah, yo. So, Bryce is a dedicated history major at Rosemont College, where a deep passion for the past meets a commitment to preserving it for future generations. As an active participant in the SEPCI conference, Bryce has already begun contributing to meaningful academic conversions beyond the classroom. At Rosemont, Bryce also had played an important role in shaping how history is experienced on campus, creating multiple exhibits for the college library that highlight cultural heritage and bring historical narratives to life in engaging and accessible ways. These projects reflect not only strong research of skills, but also a talent for storytelling and public history. An emerging historian, Bryce is building an impressive path as an archivist, co-editor, and researcher, roles that require both careful attention to detail and thoughtful approach to interpreting the past. Fudge that up. So please join me in welcoming BS or Bryce Simon to the platform of ETP. We should have these clapping here, but we don't have the person behind it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Amen to that. Amen. This is our 5th episode.
Oh, yeah. It's been one heck of a journey. Like,
Amen to that, for sure.
So many ups and downs. Like,
Amen.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
It's great to be sitting here finally, because we said we were going to do this before we even had the first one out.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, and like when we were recording that episode, it felt so daunting. It was like, oh my God, how are we going to get to 5? But now we're here. And, you know, if we're here, this means that we can get 5 more pretty easily.
Yep. Well, easily, I don't know about that.
Not easily, but knock on wood, we'll get it out there.
Yeah, for real.
We'll get it out. It may take a while, but but we will get to 10 episodes.
Yeah, amen to that. We will get that. I went over there. This is my camera. What's up, camera? Camera for him is over there. I usually will give people out stickers, but you know, I don't have stickers on me anymore. Ran out.
I'm gonna riot in the comments. I'm gonna be like,
darn
dude, I'm gonna be yelling in the comments like, I didn't get my sticker.
Right.
I went through all this effort to sit in this chair right now, and I didn't get a single sticker.
I know.
Like, come on, man.
Hey, when the first sticker of ETP comes out, you'll be getting that right off the bat.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to put that on a jacket or something. You know.
Yeah.
We gotta make like a patch for it or something.
Hey,
that would be dope.
Yep. I would love to do that for sure. But another thing I'm going to start doing for the podcast is read some daily quotes for Stoicism. I got this really cool 365-day quotes that's given out in order to talk about the lessons of Stoicism. So today's quote is, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events whichever way that they happen. This is the path to peace." For me, this quote resonated to me big time because I'm a person who has been on a journey trying to figure out how to control my reaction to any given situation. So like when something goes wrong, I used to like freak out in a negative way. But now like doing Stoicism for like 7+ years, I kind of control my reaction and be able to handle difficulties in a big way. So, you know, I like to figure out how to, I don't know, live better because of that. It gives a feeling of peace. Yeah. And from there on, I'm, you know, don't have a lot of baggage. I don't know if you can agree with that.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I feel like you chose a pretty relevant quote to my life. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
No, I just picked it up randomly.
The universe is a funny way of working like that.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
For me personally, I struggle between choosing two paths because there's two paths that are primary in my mind. That it's either one, the path to peace, or the path to control.
Right.
Where the path to peace, where it's like the one where sometimes you gotta take your hands off the wheel and let go and let things flow the way they want. And sometimes there are points in my life where I do that. I've gained some opportunities that way. A lot of in my earlier life, and a lot of even I guess towards my high school experience and my college as well, that's happened. But the thing that I also struggle with is not being able to let go of the wheel because. And I want to control that wheel. I want to grab onto that wheel and I want to steer the car, and I'm never letting go.
Right.
Right. And not only the wheel, I want to be able to have control of the pedal. I want to be able to control the stereo. I want to be able to control every part that's within the car. There's nothing in that car that should be doing anything unless I say so.
Right.
And it's a very hard ideology to struggle with because the thing that often happens is it leads you to a very unhappy place.
Yep, and a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos where you think you're trying to create order for yourself, but in actuality, it's just a lot of chaos. And I know I'm sounding so smart and collected right now, but Nick, you can probably confirm this, but most of the times I don't have this nature, and that chaos part of my brain is usually taking the wheel.
Yeah. Well, one thing that you and I have been working on is trying to figure out a healthy balance between controlling and letting go. Yeah. And since I do have to say, since I first met you to now, there's a lot of growth. So, pat yourself on the back with that.
Yay.
Yes. Amen to that. It's great that you mentioned high school and college. I guarantee we're at this time period where a lot of high school students, seniors, or even juniors are trying to figure out where they're going to go with college. And if you can go back in time, you being an historian, when you decide on schools, or let's go to this one, was there looking back, what did you wish someone has told you before you made your choice of Rosemont?
Well, honestly, me in that time period when I was in high school, there's nothing that you could have told me, because when I was in high school and I was going to college, I thought my life was over because I had all these things in high school. I had a massive web of friends. I had a club that I was running. I had a lot of control.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want to give up with that control. And I thought that if I let go of that control, then my life would just be over. And there was really nothing anyone could have told me to make me feel differently. The only way to do it is to just jump the bridge. I had to get over that gap in order to see past it.
Right.
If I did say anything to my younger self, I'd be, dude, you gotta bite the bullet. You gotta bite the bullet, because I did not go on enough tours. I did not go to as many schools as I should. And maybe I would be in a completely different place right now if I didn't have that massive gap in my brain and thought my life was ending, because it made me not want to do college stuff. I didn't want to write my college essay. I didn't want to apply to schools. I didn't want to go through the process at all. And it really hindered me and limited my development. And I don't wish that on anyone.
So would you say that would be considered to be the hardest part of the process of choosing school, relinquishing that control to your friend group? And, now you're in Rosemont.
Yeah,
I
would say it definitely is one of the hardest parts. I can't speak for other people. I'm going to be very clear, but I felt like I was losing everything in that time period. I spent 12 years building this tight knit web of friends, and 12 years developing friendships that I have many of them to this day, but I've also lost a lot of them just due to time.
Right.
And I knew that was going to happen, and I didn't want to cope with that reality. And
it's definitely tough. I remember I had a big group. We always walked through the hallways like we owned the place, and going through. And right now I'm 26. You're going to be 22 soon.
Yeah, you remember the dinosaurs still.
Oh my God. I had one a little off track. I had a group. I was doing a tour, and they set this up. They were like asking how old I was or when I was born, and they said 19. And before I finished my 1990, and then they put the Jurassic World theme song right in front of when I said 19. I was like, you fucks.
I had if I was there, I would high five those kids because that is just that is so awesome. Yeah. That's the kind of thing I would plan, and I'm kind of mad I never thought of doing that to you.
Oh my God. Lucky you have it, but you always remind me I'm old. Yep. So great to be reminded.
Yeah.
But when I was saying losing friends over time, myself, we kind of grew apart, kind of got in some sorts of beef as well. And it's in the early stages, it's very difficult. But I do have to say, when you get a little bit older and older, you kind of replace those friends, and you kind of know what you need in a friendship, rather than you were just associated with them because they're around you. Now, it's kind of weird. You can be a little bit more nitpicky with who you surround yourself with, and that's very key.
Well, not at my school since it's so small.
Right, that's true. Rosemont doesn't give it that opportunity.
There's other opportunities out there.
Right, amen to that. I mean, hey man, you got me now.
Yeah,
for sure. And then, was there a moment during your time, you're going to be a junior, or you're a junior?
I am a junior.
You are a junior. Jeez, time flies, my friend.
Yeah, you met me when I was a freshman.
I know. Oh my God. Yep. But was there a moment when you doubted whether you chose the right choice of going to Rosemont? If so, a little explain and elaborate more on that.
Literally every day, right. I question if I made the right choice by going to Rosemont. Because I mean, it comes from different places a lot of times, because sometimes I'll go and I'll see my other friends that I'm still in contact with from high school, and I'll be like, or my brother, because I should mention I'm a twin, and I have a twin brother that has his own college experience in a completely different place.
Right.
And I look at their college experience and I compare it to mine, and I'm like, these people are so happy in their place. They're so happy with their experience. And it's like, and I question, do I have that level of happiness? And oftentimes it's no, I don't. And it makes me feel really sad sometimes. So it makes me question, did I really go to the right place? Was this really a good choice?
Right.
And then another place that the question often comes from is am I getting what I need here? Is this giving me an accurate picture of the real world? I question what I'm learning. Some days I feel like I'm learning a lot. Other days I feel like I'm getting stupider, and that really it really hurts the psyche. It makes me really question if I went to another school, would I still feel like that?
I wonder. Probably not the focusing on the academic part, but learning about real life experiences. I feel like you are, due to the experiences that you and I have discussed in the past. It's kind of giving you a reality check that not everybody will have your best interests. There's going to be people that's going to doubt you, talk shit about you, when you are going to, go through your career path and trying to make something out of yourself.
Yeah, I won't go into details about anything that happened, but college definitely was a massive reality check.
Yeah.
The place I grew up, I don't know if I should really say it on the pod, because
just say generally.
All right. I grew up in a town called Lansdale, and it was pretty much a bubble. My high school was so massive that
which they know about it because Jake's episode.
Oh yeah,
North
right.
Penn.
No, I went to North Penn, and my high school was so massive that if I didn't want to talk to someone, I didn't have to talk to them, and I could just put them in a bubble over there, and then I can just stick into my web, and I would not have to talk to anyone outside of that web. Not to mention, I was a pretty sheltered kid. I like to stay inside. I play video games, play D&D, other kinds of hobbies. So I wasn't really going outside that often, although I would go for walks a lot. But
amen to that.
I'm not a complete shut-in.
Got you. So let's pivot a little bit. So you're in the history field. So what drew you into the field of history in the first place?
Well, it didn't really happen until later, because when I was in elementary school, actually no, I'm lying. There was one teacher I had in elementary school that really made me love history. She was my 6th grade social studies history. Her name is Miss Freeling. I don't know if she's watching this, but shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
But like how she taught history, because we had world history then, and like she was just a really good teacher with how she would discuss the topic and engage me.
Yeah.
Like not even just like the class in general. She was good at engaging the class. No one in there doubted that she was a good teacher, but she took extra effort into engaging me, make sure I was engaging with the topic and learning it. And it's like she was just a really good teacher. And I saw her when I was graduating and went back to my middle school, and I was like, and like how she described me, I was like, and she's like, "Oh, Bryce, always the one filled with passion," or something along those lines.
You do have passion.
Yeah.
And compassion.
Yeah. Although a lot of my passion back then was running out of classrooms, but that's a story for another day.
No, I got you. It's kind of funny that the history for you was introduced by a teacher. For me, the first step was my grandfather. He was like a huge father figure for me. Him and I always watched like the history channels together, went to the museums and so on and so forth. And then after he died, like history kind of like went in the back burner. I focused on other things until when I was at Montgomery County Community College, and I took a history class for like a required course. And Dr. Russo, shout out to her, she came up to me and asked me, "Why are you not in the history field?" Because in her mind, I should be in the history field. And I told her straight up, it's like, yeah, there's no money in it. She kind of laughed. It's just like understandable. But after that, I was like, I kind of like history a little bit more compared to engineering. I'm more engaged with it. And, from then on, I was like, hey, I want to do history, and got my associate's degree, master's, well, not master's, that's next step, bachelor's degree in Rosemont. So that's where we met. And here we are to get today. It's really cool to see like how other people, or just how us get our inspiration of being in the history field. I know that one of my coworkers, Clint Flack, history was like his passion and love from the start. But then what really jumped off is because of his librarian in school who introduced the story of the Dones. He was 8.
Wow.
Yep, 8 years old.
Wait, I've heard this story because like we did the tour. We did his tour together.
Yep.
That was a great time.
Yep.
Honestly, I remember I was pretty sad that day, and then I went on that tour, and like my mood just like perked up.
Yep. He's a very contagious individual with like high energy. And then now, which is going to be weird, I'll be not taking his spot, but I'm doing a lot more leads with the tours and the Dones.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Kind of nervous. It's like I did it with the education department. Now I'm doing like an hour 15 with the adults, and I don't know. It's going to be grueling in my mind because I'm an introvert, even though I'm trying to be in that. I'm doing an extrovert type of job.
I don't know what I am anymore.
Oh, really?
Because I'm like I was like an extreme extrovert when I was a kid. Like I would be bored unless I was with people. I'd always want to be out, hanging out, planning events, and that part of me still exists. And it's like, but it's definitely not as strong anymore. Like these days, I'm definitely a lot more recluse, more of a shut-in.
Right.
And I don't know if that's like a good thing or not, or if that's just kind of like.
I feel like you're protecting yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Just protecting your energy.
Yeah, but I definitely do. I love going out and hanging out with people, and I also just love explaining things.
Right.
Like, you can probably agree with this, Nick.
Yeah.
Like, I know you also love explaining things.
Yeah, I just talk all over and over. Well, speaking of love, what do you love most about studying history?
The thing that I love most about studying history is I've been thinking about this a lot lately because Chelsea, our old boss, she asked me a similar question of like, what do I love so much about archives? And I think the answer is it's like time traveling. If you put yourself in the right shoes and you're studying the right thing, it's like you're having a conversation with someone from a previous time period, and you're going and you're asking them questions, and they may not be giving you verbal responses, but you can almost hear the responses within what you're reading and what articles you find. And I love that feeling. I love like having a hypothesis or having a thesis question and going through and being like, what would this person think about this? And then actually finding their thoughts. Like, well, if you can find the thoughts, because, you know, obviously history doesn't always answer, like, is not always so cut and dry. But it's like, I love the idea of having a conversation from someone from the past. I can't invent a time machine yet, but when I do, you best believe that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, the new Doctor Who is right here.
Doctor Who, literally, the doctor said in one episode, like, please don't be archaeologists. And he's like, what do you have against archaeologists? He's like, I'm a time traveler. I point and laugh at archaeologists.
I feel that. I feel that. I like that.
It's one of my favorite Doctor Who quotes.
Yeah. So, what is something people misunderstood about a history researcher?
Everyone thinks, like, and most people think this going into school, but history is not just memorizing dates. Mm-hmm. History is a mindset. Yeah. You're not going in there like it's cool that you know that the American Revolution like started in 1775. That's or did it end? Now I'm kind of confused.
Wait, what you say?
75? That's what? Wait, did the revolution end in 75?
81.
81. Frick. Yeah. It started in 75. Yeah. My bad. See, not about memorizing dates. Right. But the point is, it's cool that you can point dates out, and it's very amazing that people can do that and can memorize those kinds of things. I have it on most days. I know I just kind of discredited myself there, but I get it most of the time. Yeah. But history's at the end of the day, it's a mindset. Right. Like, yeah. Your history is about asking questions. It's about finding where things are. It's about figuring out why a historian would use this. And then it's like, that's what history is. It's not about memorizing dates. It's cool that you can memorize dates. But the thing is, when you really get into it, you realize no one can agree on when anything happened.
Right. Right. That's an understatement right there. I mean, like knowing, well, not to discredit you, apparently like some historians kind of classified the start of the American Revolution, there's like two parts. First, in 1775, it was a battle based off of the grievances. And then from 1776 on July 4th, our Declaration of Independence, it's a whole new identity. And that's, in their mind, the start of the American Revolution.
Yeah, I see that too. I also, people think that it started with the Boston Massacre, or started when they started putting up liberty trees, or it started when the first shot was fired. Yeah. And then it's like all of those things have different dates, and some of them even have like years apart. So tell me, when did the American Revolution start?
Yep. But in our a lot of other historians, they're going to say 1775. So, yeah. And that's where we're going to kind of say with the Battle of Lexington and Concord, the shot that heard around the world.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, that's nice for younger people. I think younger people need that. Sometimes you do need to be like, when did George Washington become president, or what year was civil rights? Right. But at the same time, it's like when you really get to thinking about it, you realize that when they say an event started, it's really just kind of a suggestion, because you can look at so many events that happened before it that might be able to be classified as the start of said event.
Right. Right. And do you ever feel like talking to not a disrespectful manner, the common person, that kind of just overlooked the history field, saying, hey, we don't need to fund it, we don't need to care about it?
I do. Okay, this like... My family might give my sisters might give me a little flack for this, but them, maybe not. My youngest sister, not so much, but the one this is my younger sister. That's not the youngest. Mm. Like, she hated history for the longest time, and only really started liking it when she went to Turkey and got to see the castles. And I'm like, really? It takes castles to make you like this? Like,
right.
I've been trying for years to get this child to like history, and she's like, the American Revolution is so boring. And I'm like, it's not boring. You just gotta look harder. Because the American Revolution, it has pirates. It has the Dones, which you could either probably classify as pirates or like a Robin Hood like figure, depending on how you look at them.
Right.
You have so many layers to it. Like there's women writing books and stuff during this time period. There's like you have common sense and those people around. Like the American Revolution is an extremely interesting point in history, and it's
right.
and I feel like I need to say this for the record. It's not just white people. Any group of people can find something in the American Revolution and latch onto it.
Yep, amen to that. I mean, knowing about how Islam influenced founding fathers such as Thomas Jefferson with his writing, and then I mean you have free Black people and then slaves fighting on both sides of the American Revolution. The Native Americans were part of it. Religious groups such as like Quakers and Mennonites were affected by it. Like there's a lot of groups, like you said, that was a part of this American Revolution. And the only reason why we're focusing on the American Revolution is because of US 250. We're just trying to harp on that. There's other aspects of history that we are very interested in, which we were going to have further discussions in future podcasts. Maybe now, but like there's some specialists that I have contact to. I don't know if I've told you about this, but there's some individuals talking about medieval history in Europe and stuff like that.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Right.
I would love to talk about that.
Right. But like going back to like people like misunderstanding and kind of discrediting the history. Like I have some friends that it's like, it's not a proper skill. Like you're wasting your time. There's nothing here. We don't need history, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Punch those people.
Right. But for you in particular, like hearing other people and, you know, not just your sisters, but just like how other people perceive history, does that ever make you question of being a part of this field?
Yeah, I mean, I question, like, if you can't get from how I've been talking this podcast, I'm not really, I'm not like certain on a lot of these things. I've questioned it a bunch, but I think I'm pretty concrete in it now because it's just what I enjoy doing.
Amen to that. Yeah, I questioned it a couple times. Hell, I'm kind of questioning it right now. That's why I'm getting a certification in data analytics, kind of give me like a way to a backup plan if the history field does not open up with jobs. Like jobs is very difficult to get into, and now the requirement for entry level jobs is getting a master's degree, which kind of makes the bachelor's degree useless. Yeah, it's Thanks. Like kind of I owe you a soda now. What soda do you want?
Root beer.
Got you. Next time I get you that. But like, you know, just knowing about the funds and not getting a lot of jobs, it's like for the bachelor's degree, it's like equivalent to getting an associate's degree at this moment. Yeah. It's kind of worthless. No offense. Not trying to be disrespectful to bachelor's degrees.
I mean, like, no, I mean, anyone who's completed college, like associates, bachelors, whatever, high level of respect for.
Right.
Because, I mean, historically, college was not about going to get a degree. It was about furthering your intelligence. So if you went to college and you furthered your intelligence, good on you. I don't care what you were getting. Yeah. You could be getting the most useless degree on the planet, and I feel bad for you because I relate to you.
Right.
But like, you went there and you furthered your intelligence, and that is an achievement, and that should be valued, even though if you can't get jobs with it, which again, I also relate to you.
So just pivot a little bit. Have you dealt with any difficulty or controversial historical topics in your research? If so, how do you handle it?
Well, okay. So I can start with this might be, I don't know, this might be a little dicey.
Yeah, whatever you can say.
But like, I remember my freshman year, like, you're talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict,
Right.
and like there was someone in the class who was Muslim, and so they were like giving a talk on one side, and since I had to give the talk on the Jewish side, so like I basically just kind of turned it. So I basically had to like talk about it in a way that wasn't super inflammatory. And also just kind of like make it digestible for people, because I wasn't there to like just tell people what to think politically.
Right.
I was there to just talk about the history of what happened and talk about certain perspectives that I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with. I don't agree with a lot of those perspectives,
Right.
but it's a very fascinating history of the topic, and with current events, it's a very important history to study.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned like our job as historians is to tell history from all sides and point of views. And then, a person in particular that I'm very fascinated about and talked about him, I don't know, many of times, is Henry Mercer. So in 1880, the G. Yeah. He created a historical marker for Moses Doane, the part of the Doane gang, and made the people of Bucks County very upset. And then they thought he was trying to celebrate the Doanes, but in fact, his job, like I just mentioned, is tell history from both perspectives.
And I mean, the loyalist perspective, like I mean, the revolutionaries, they're cool and all, but they are not as interesting to study as the loyalists.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love studying the loyalist perspective because it's a perspective that we don't get a lot. I mean, most people, like I feel like most people with a general idea of history know we don't get the perspectives of the losers.
Yep.
And in this situation, they were the losers.
Yep.
So I mean, let's talk about the losers. Everyone complains that we don't have the losers' perspective. So let's talk about it where we have it.
Right. But I do one thing I will push back just a second, but like one thing I do in my job, and a lot of people get at times very upset, is that when they come in, they have this like perspective the Doanes are just these villains. And I hate the perspective of heroes and villains. And it's like, it's actually winners and losers. But like, even that, like we have to, my favorite thing is to try to make them understand like the human side of the Doanes. Like they were classified as a disaffected group, or some of them were. And then they were pushed to be loyalists because of the Test Act of 1777. If you don't know, I'll give you a little rundown. If you're a male 18 and older, you renounce your allegiance to King George III, and you have to sign your new allegiance to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or the new government. In failing to do so, you face like certain punishments, such as your right to bear arms was taken away. You were not able to vote. You face heavy fines. If you were like working, you were no longer able to work. And then sometimes your property was seized and forfeited. And then also crops. But the crops situation happened on both sides. So it's not just one point of view. That happened. These punishments the Doanes had to face. Moses Doane Sr., his property was seized and forfeited. Joseph Doane Sr., property was seized and forfeited. I don't know if I said that correctly. But Moses, his horse was taken away, and Joseph Jones Jr., the son of Joseph Sr., he was a school teacher. And because of him being classified as a traitor, he was no longer able to teach and do his work. And because of that, they chose the side of the loyalists. They might have some allegiance with the king and with their business ties, but through and through, it shows like it's a reactionary approach of what the Doanes, of them choosing the side of the loyalists.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair. I mean, I call the Doanes outlaws, but I wouldn't call them villains.
Right.
Because it's like as you mentioned, they had everything taken from them. They couldn't like make a living. So I would be pretty pissed at the revolutionaries as well. And the revolutionaries were not good guys. Like
Right.
I feel like a lot of people forget. I mean, this is a party of slave owners and businessmen. They
Right.
are not the best people. they should not be idolized. And I feel like
I don't want to say not be idolized.
Well, okay, they had some good ideas
Right.
that we should keep in the talks.
Right.
Like, I mean, the Declaration of Independence is a great document in my opinion. Right. But I mean,
everyone has their flaws.
Everyone has their flaws, and they're not the good guys.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget about. I mean, we all know about their hypocrisy of them talking about freedom for all. Right. But then, what was it? 3/4 of a person act.
Three fifths. Yeah.
3/5. Yeah, 3/5 of a person act, and a lot of those kinds of declarations. It's like these people were not the good guys, and you can see that pretty clearly in this throughout American history.
Got you. Yeah.
And
totally.
I feel like a lot of people in the older generations and a lot of people in the younger generation too, because it passes down. Like we can't count out Gen Z and Alpha.
One thing I start noticing with the younger generation, we have this voting booths within there. Them hearing the story, they put it right in the middle. Equally heroes, equally villains.
Wow.
Yeah. They are actually surprising me. Not in a disrespectful manner.
I mean, no, that's really cool because as someone as well as I've grown up on superhero stories and other forms of media like Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff. So I have a very clear idea of hero and villain, and I kind of try to use that lens when I'm looking at different topics, and it's really hindering when you try to put everyone in a hero or a villain category. It's really annoying because there's no such things as heroes and villains in history. Heroes and villains, they are idealistic. There are things that we need. Storytelling, but they are something that do not physically exist in reality.
Right.
Well, except in certain cases for villains. I think I should clarify that. But I mean, there are a lot of people in history that you can objectively say are really freaking evil. And you know what? Yeah, I agree. They are. I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me.
Nah, I feel that. They won't shoot you. This is honestly showcasing how our job as historians, it's very difficult because we have to walk a narrow line because whatever we say can be misinterpreted. But what we're actually trying to say, it might be something else. And, when we tell or talk about the, not just the Dones, but other forms of historical classified villains or just how we interpreted the founding fathers, we're not trying to discredit them, we're not trying to give them credit, we're just trying to tell people the history so we can learn from it.
I mean, because just at the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about George Washington, regardless about how you feel about Benjamin Franklin, I mean, you can hate them. That's completely okay. But the one thing that you can't deny is that they contributed greatly to the start of this country, and they put forth ideas and plans that have held to this day, and that needs to be recognized.
Right. No, for real. Just pivoting a little bit, just talking about your accomplishments in the history field so far, you and I have discussed that you've won a lot of the awards, been part of the SEPSI conference. So what accomplishment are you most proud of so far in your academic journey?
Oof, that one is hard.
Right?
Ooh, which one am I most proud of? So right now, I'm going to say this. Currently, I'm most proud of SEPSI, but I got a couple projects that I'm lining up that I might be more proud of once they're done.
Right.
But no, SEPSI was definitely one that I am very proud of because SEPSI is an honors conference. But here's the thing I should specify. I am not an honors student.
Nope.
They asked me to do it because they respected me enough as a student to do something for an honor student, and that honor alone, it felt amazing that I had enough of a reputation, and I was to really do that. And so, should I talk about?
Yeah, I was about to say, can you elaborate a little bit more of your presentation there?
All right, so my presentation was on this African art collection that was put together by a man named James Kaplan, who he was an artist among other things, but the main thing is that he spent his life collecting this art, taking inspiration from it, and using it as his own. So he accrued a massive collection of African art. And he donated it to Rosemont College because he's in his older years, and he'd wanted it in a place where it can educate people. And luckily, one of those folks that got to learn from it was me. I was the one that was responsible for cataloging, not the whole collection, but they were setting up an exhibit for it. And so they selected a couple of pieces, and I was the one that was basically putting the information in. I made the descriptions, and then I basically put a lot of that work together, and that gave me a pretty good knowledge of a lot of the stuff that's in the collection, stuff being displayed and not being displayed at the same time. And so what I did is I decided to choose 4 artifacts, and I used those 4 artifacts, and I basically went into the history of them, and then like what they were made from, what they represent, and what regions of Africa that they were from, because that's the most important part, because most people in the West just don't know shit about Africa's geography or the ethnic groups in there.
Right. Would you say that presentation in particular kind of shape your confidence as being an historian, or is there a different presentation or project that you worked on?
That gave me a lot of confidence as a historian. I mean, there definitely are other projects that gave me historian, but that one was like, I can do this. And because I remember, I forget the professor. I think it was Professor Sinascauchi. I think that's how you say his name. Like I told him, like, I'm not an honor student. Like they just asked me to do this. So here I am. And and then when I gave my talk to him, and he's like, you don't talk any different from these honor students. You definitely deserve to be here.
Right. And I would can testify the importance of being with the SEPG conference. Myself and my old partner was a part of it again, which is really dope to see for Bryce. In particular, like, we weren't honor roll students at all, and we were given an opportunity to discuss our project on Matt Anthony Wayne and our interview with Mary Stockwell, who wrote the book on Unlikely General. We actually did a really cool interview with her, which you will see. Well, you could search up on History John podcast on Spotify to look into that. No longer a part of it. But it's great to see like a person like Bryce, who went through a lot of trials and tribulations in this field, and getting the flowers that he does deserve, because he has a lot of passion and compassion in the field. And it's great to see you like succeeding, very much so.
I know. Like I don't know what it feels like, honestly. It's just like my body is just like not known what to do with it, because it's like, oh my God, I achieved this amazing thing. But like the question always becomes, the question that's always on my mind and will never leave my mind is, what's next? What do I have to do next?
Right. That's always going to be in your mind.
It's always going to be in my mind. I know. It's never going to go away. You can attest to this, because I know you think the same way.
Yep. Amen to that.
And it's like, because it's like when you start getting those flowers, when you start getting those seeds, and you start seeing them bloom, like it's a hard winter that you have to go through to see the seeds bloom.
Right.
And once you finally start seeing them bloom and seeing the accomplishment of your labor, then you gotta start worrying about planting more seeds.
Right. Ooh, I was a little curious in particular. Just like I want to know this one moment in your life where you feel like I really belong in this field.
The moment in my life where I really feel like I belong in this field.
AKA history field.
Happened. Okay, so that was either. Honestly, it was like it was really kind of this semester is honestly where I really felt that, because it was like this semester is kind of this has been my semester, if people listening can't tell. But I think the moment where I was like, yeah, I really belong here is when my work really started to get like looked at because I was put in charge. Another thing I'm doing is I'm working on a scrapbook from a student that went to Rosemont in the 1940s, and her name is Mary Monahan. I'm working on that with a friend. Shout out Jux if you're watching this, you may. And just being put in charge of that collection and like having my work looked over and being like, yep, that's good. And it was like, that was when I was like, yeah, I really belong here. And then also, like, this really doesn't mean anything, but I'm technically like since I have more credits and I've worked in the archives before, I'm technically I'm technically like Jux's like boss, but I don't see it that way. But technically, I'm kind of like head partner. Where it's like they're kind of like looking at me and I'm kind of like more expected to know what's going on since I have more of the experience. So like seeing that and then like having them trust the work that I've been doing is like, yeah, okay, I belong here.
Right. Fuck yeah, Bryce. I like how this is your semester. I remember beforehand you were very stressed out trying to be noticed, and here are you being noticed, and I feel like a lot of good things is just like falling into place for you. And this is not your peak point. You're just scratching the surface, like I've been telling you over and over and over again.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's just like I can't stop because I like something that really, it's like sometimes this motivates me, but sometimes it gets under my skin. Is like so many people around me that have just so much belief in me, and it sounds like a good thing, and it is a good thing. Like I'm this is like my lobster's too buttery here.
Right.
Complaint, but but you don't want to fail those people. Like the fear of failure, it's overwhelming sometimes because a lot of days I don't feel like I'm gonna succeed. I don't feel like I'm top dog. I don't feel like I'm on top of the world. A lot of days I feel like I'm a failure and I gotta like do things to justify myself why I'm not a failure. And all these people, despite all those feelings, they have so much belief in me and just kind of know that I'm going to succeed, that I want to just be in a place. I want to get to a place, be successful enough for they're just like, well, yeah, of course he succeeded. He's him.
Right.
And I would hate to fall from grace and like, just spend my life working at like a McDonald's or a Wawa or something like that and just fall out of fame like that. That's one of my worst fears.
No, I feel that. Not to shit on people who work at McDonald's or anything.
No, not to shit on you at all. Like, thanks for making my food and everything. It's much appreciated.
But I feel like you're going to be very successful and, keep on grinding, Bryce.
Yeah.
I noticed that you did a couple shout outs for people, who you work with and all. But if you can give a shout out to who has been your mentor, who made a big difference in your development as a history major.
Huh.
If you can share a story with them or about them too.
Just like more, is this, it's definitely more history focused rather than
all right, let's do a history focus and wherever you were
all right,
going.
Okay, yeah, okay. So definitely someone that has helped me a lot is my boss right now, Chelsea Frank. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
I'm shouting out a lot of people. I feel like I'm overdoing it.
No, you're not. A lot of people have impacted your life.
But the thing is with Chelsea is like she, like no matter what I'm doing, she will never think what I'm doing is useless. And it's something that is very much appreciated because I remember this one time, because like Chelsea knows I'm a huge nerd and that I love things like Lord of the Rings, and we were at the Game of Thrones Museum in Ireland, and she was like, Bryce, like a lot of these places need to store this stuff and need to store these concepts, and they have archivists to do that. You may be able to do that one day, and that really made me go like, never thought about it that way. I never realized those kinds of companies had archivists, and she opened up like a whole new way of thinking for me that day. And like, I don't know if I really expressed that. I'm horrible at expressing those things, but it really that opened my eyes that day.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate that. And like I said, like sometimes when I'm confused or something like or about my education path, I'll ask Chelsea about it, and then she'll tell me like what she's doing, and she'll help me help me justify why I should be on this path.
Yeah. And I do agree with her statement. Like, yeah, like I keep on, I'm gonna be like a broken record and saying the same thing over. Like, you have so much passion, and it's like very contagious, and everyone knows you have that passion, and and then something that as a good friend of mine, like I admire those qualities. Like I know whenever I have like, oh my God, this is a stressful day, and then Bryce comes down to work on like a podcast, and we're dealing with some bullshit, but like he just has this like passion to keep on going and moving forward, and it's like what I learned today, and then he goes on a huge tangent on whatever he's learned, and it's just like I just sit there and just listen, and just like ball of energy just coming in, but it's like good vibes.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Amen to that, bro.
It's no secret. I always do have something that I want to talk about, or something I've learned that day, or just like maybe just like an issue I'm stewing on that I like. There's always something I want to talk about, and I think that's a quality everyone should have, and I hope everyone finds someone that's willing to listen, like Nick is.
Yeah. I wish people do listen, and especially to historians, because we got stuff to say.
Yeah.
We got, I mean, I do have to say we do need to get better at storytelling. I know people at times get bored with our storytelling, but we'll get better on that. Not just talking about us in general, but like I feel like as the field we need to step forward in that and focus on that.
I think it's hard sometimes because not every story is the Odyssey. Like,
no, true.
There's just some things that you can't really make that entertaining because what? A lot of history is documents.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you make documents interesting to people that really freaking hate documents or just are in school all day writing papers? And it's like, but documents are one of the most important parts of history, whether they're like written or verbal.
Right. Fuck yeah. I agree with that statement. When I was doing some archives at the whatever that sister archives of the Rosemont College, the Holy
Sisters of the Holy Child.
Yeah. Fucking boring, but like I don't know. I just knew that it just needed to be done, so I just went through it and got it done. Visualization, writing this transcript of that. It's like wow, whatever the person was talking about was god awful. It wasn't even very entertaining, but the work needs to be done.
Can I just say this is kind of a side note, but also kind of not. It is related, but like I love those scanners. They are so cool.
I know,
they're
right?
such a cool piece of technology.
Yo, I wish I can show you this one. So at the Mercer Museum, there's like the big room, the archives, and so they have the scanners. They have the they're digitalizing like the artifacts with like the camera set up.
Can it do like 3D models?
I don't know if they do in particular, but I know another museum that does it, and it's dope as fuck.
The only ones that I've seen are the ones at Rosemont, which one is like from the early 2000s, which it's really not that greatest. It takes like 3 minutes to scan everything. They have the second one that it's a lot smaller, but that one scans things like bam.
Right.
You throw something in, 2 seconds later, it's done. And it's just like, I love those things. And also just like the quality. I love doing the quality control with digitalization.
Yeah.
Because because it's just like, okay, everything is like, all right, you got to make sure everything is good. And then it's just like looking at the quality. And then also like sometimes it's just like you really got to think about how you want to put it in because like some things like need a specific angle or some things like they need a specific side or stuff like that. And it's just it's really fun to think about. And it's like I just kind of like I need to get better at doing it because a lot of stuff is like the oh my god, this scrapbook is really fragile and I'm just and I've broken off big chunks of a couple pages.
Right. Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked.
They're like okay.
Uh-oh. Is this out yourself?
It wasn't I didn't.
Gotcha.
I never destroyed any page, and this thing is from the frickin' 40s. So give me a break.
No.
And also, it's one of those things where it's just like I was kind of told like this thing is falling apart anyway.
Yeah.
Like there's no saving this. So
sadly, that's why we're digitalizing it so it could be saved one way or another.
Exactly. So they told me to be like to be gentle, but also like don't worry about being as gentle as possible.
Yeah. Shit. Well, where do you see your research taking you, or your projects research and taking you in the next 5-10 years? Well, actually, let's backtrack. Not 5-10 years. Let's say
Next year.
the next year or the next 3 years.
Well, hopefully next year it takes me to my capstone, because
Right.
I'm gonna have to be starting that soon, and
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm getting a certain opportunity that might help illuminate me in something I could do potentially.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah. Did you mention that you might have a big time internship coming up?
Oh yeah, I do, and I'm like, I'm nervous about that.
Yeah. Can you elaborate what that is and
All right, so
the significance of it for yourself?
okay, I don't know if I'm
To how
really-
much you are willing to discuss?
All right, well, okay, so all right, so the opportunity I have coming up is at the Elkin Parts Holocaust Museum.
Yep.
And my hope with that is like they need archivists there, and it's like I have the skills that's necessary, and it's just also the kind of stuff that they have there that I can only imagine it, because you got like just like going back to what I said about having conversations with people that aren't really talking back, but you still kind of know what they think. They have to have plenty of that there, because I'm sure they get lots of donations from different survivors. So just getting the opportunity to mess with that would be, or not to mess. I think it mess is too dirty, but to get to learn from that would just be a dream come true and the honor of a lifetime.
Right. I'm into that. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do in the history field. It's dope to hear that you're getting into archives and stuff like that. And I thought that would be my path and direction with the experience I've accumulated, but it's just like I kind of enjoy more storytelling.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a tour guide position, honestly. I want to do that at some point in my life.
It's interesting as fuck. I do recommend, if you want to do it in particular, maybe not do it for a museum. Do it for like the tour guides over in like a city. There was a tour that I did. It's called Grimm. And they were talking about the dark history in Philadelphia. Recommend, if you have not gone to do that, do recommend doing that. But for historians, I do recommend, he just discussed, trying to get into doing tours.
Can we do that tour at one point?
Yeah, we're going to probably do it next fall.
Nice.
Especially when we are going to be coming out with a new platform called Historic AF. We're going to do a lot of storytelling, but at that time we're going to be focusing on spooky stories, and we're going to conduct a lot of research and figuring out our niche and style of storytelling. So that's coming up this summer. It's going to be filled with not just from ETP, but like us trying to figure out what we're going to be doing, how we're going to do it, and figure out the brand. I'm excited for doing that. It will help us out in our field. So in a way, maybe this is where I'm kind of going towards. I know that, I know we just discussed mentors. Like one big mentor of mine was Michelle Morvick from Rosemont.
You're a big mentor to me too.
Yes. Shout out to her, Dr. Jackson Johnson, Chelsea Franks, Campbell, all of them. Yeah, they are great people, and they are the reason why Rosemont got its glitz and glamour for sure. But Morvick was talking about to me that my direction in the history field is not the traditional path. It's more what we're doing right now. Very unconventional, aka Eccentric Talk Podcast. Very unconventional, and it's just weird to think that this is the path that I have kind of found myself in. There's no room or safety place. Like I still have like a lot to work on in order to make all this to work and produce some money in order for myself to live. But
you got good help.
Yeah, amen to that. A lot of good help. Not just you in particular, but shout out to Colin, who's helping me out. Jake Gutland with constructing all this, or helping us out with editing and the camera work. Yourself with like being here for oh my god, probably a year.
Yeah,
going to be a year.
Yeah, it is.
And it just, I don't know. Overall I am blessed to be or to have people like that, but also to be like part of this journey. So again, I appreciate you being here and appreciate hearing your story and your journey and archives and stuff like that. So like my goal, which I talked to Bryce many times in the past, is give him as much skills as humanly possible so that he can be versatile in the field of history. Because I know or notice some institutions in particular are creating podcasts. And I was like, hey, I know he wants to do archives, but hey, there's another opportunity of editing for the history field. I know the American Revolution Museum in Philadelphia created a really cool podcast where they're getting involved with content. And I try to apply for content fellows. Did not get that, sadly. But, it's really cool to see that institutions like that are realizing the importance of content, and especially in telling the story of history. And it's kind of weird now to think that we're independent. We're doing our own thing. We're creating our own institution. Maybe we can create our own museum one way or another. The Eccentric Museum.
The Eccentric Museum would be amazing.
Yeah, whatever that could be.
What would even be in there?
I have no idea.
The only thing I can think of are like these microphones that the Roadcaster, because by then it would be an antique.
Yeah.
So
any Chi stuffs or toys could be in the in the museum.
Yeah, frick it, I can put my car because I always have to drive here. That's definitely a huge part of being here. Got to be able to have wheels to get here.
Do you know Duck Dynasty or the show?
No, I don't.
Do recommend. Crazy that you've not know that. But there's this big show of the these people who create like the duck calls, and they also made it like a reality show. And towards the end, one of their episodes, they actually created a museum of their original like office space and stuff like that. I was like, that's kind of badass. I wish we could do that.
Oh, wait, dude. We could like recreate this room in a museum if we had. Oh, my God. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
Yeah, wishful thinking indeed. Kind of silly, but hey.
Kind of silly, but.
I like silly things.
You gotta dream big in this day and age.
No, for real. We gotta be delusional.
Yeah.
But speaking of delusional, let's change the subject a little bit. Is there a specific historical topic or era you dream of becoming an expert in?
I mean, I don't want to be an expert on one topic. I want to know a lot about a lot of different areas. Like, why would I limit myself to one topic? There's so much cool shit that happens in history.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stuck with just one area forever.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's lots of things that I love studying, and it's just, I never want to stop. And a lot of the times, I don't need a degree to study these things. I can do this on my own. Like, you don't always need a degree to study what you love. And I am holding that belief, and I will study what I love. I mean, maybe I will choose something to specialize in, and if I had to choose something to specialize in, it would probably either be, like, Roman history, like or Roman Jewish history, or like World War II,
right?
And like that period, and those periods, because those periods have kind of like those periods have kind of had like a special place in my heart when I've been growing up. That sounds really wrong.
That's dark, but that's crazy.
That sounds really wrong out of context. But I hope. Do I need to explain what I mean?
No. We don't have to explain it. I guess people will understand it. But I do have to agree with you with the idea of not want to be in like a expert of just one thing, because it's just you're confining yourself in like a small itty bitty box, while deep down like we want to know everything and to be involved with everything. Like I will you talked about this and if you can elaborate a little bit more on it, like you wanted to travel to other archives and work there.
Yeah, I wanted to like after I got my master's degree, I wanted to be a nomad. I didn't want to stick with one position. I wanted to be like go somewhere in Europe. Like I don't know, I'll just use like I'll just say like Austria, like work at a museum in Austria for like 6 months and then just hit a plane, chill some time at home, and then like get a job in Germany or Ireland or some other place and just spend my time just going around, just filling in different positions and doing different jobs and just learning as much as I can because I want to be worldly. It's like when I went to Ireland like a couple months ago, and since then I've just had this travel bug.
Right.
And I just want to travel. I don't want to be stuck in one place for the rest of my life. Like no offense to Bucks County or Montgomery County, but
thanks. Yeah.
if I had to stick in those counties and just spend my life in those counties for the rest of my life, I would not be happy at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I'm also on this weird like travel bug, but probably in a different format. I usually watch a lot of content on like van life. Hopefully we'll get this one guy on the podcast. His name's Maverick, or Mav. He got a truck and he put a camper on it. Or sometimes he goes use other vehicles to travel and just live. I will love to be doing that for a good portion of my life.
I thought about doing that as well. Not like, but more like I focus my dream more around trains.
Okay.
Just like kind of hopping on a train, going from place to place.
Like Sheldon.
Sheldon
Cooper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I know was actually one of your favorite shows.
Yeah, one of my favorite shows is like a show that I can put it back and just give me like warmth because the jokes are sometimes like cringy, but it's funny at the same time.
I also love Big Bang Theory, but I also have more of a personal reason for loving it because my cousin is Amy. Like my Bialik is my cousin. She and like this is close too. This is not like sixth cousin or anything. She's my third cousin. So
fuck yeah.
So it's like pretty close.
Yeah.
And so she like so I've never had the chance to meet her. I've had dinner with her uncle, and I gotta send him. I gotta start emailing him because I have a lot of questions for him. Yep. But
hopefully get that connection.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I also know that you told me she has a podcast, and that really surprised me because I had no idea.
Yeah, she started 2015, 2.16 million subscribers, a lot of views, a lot of perspectives, and I don't know. I watched her stuff, and I was like, oh my god, she's like, I mean, as a conversationalist, she has it. She has the aura for it.
I gotta watch an episode. Yeah. Like hell, maybe we can get on an episode of her pod.
Hopefully.
That would be so cool because like I said, it's like she's literally my cousin.
Yeah. And hopefully she hears this and say, "Oh my god, let me jump on the ETP and
Dude, we're in a basement right now. We need a more formal place before we meet celebrities."
Oh my gosh, she's just outing us. It's fine.
I am outing us.
It's fine. Yeah, we're having a traditional path of creating a podcast in the basement.
Yep.
But it's a humble path. But there's other like things or episodes or people I want to get on the pod. Devin Lariat, who's an arm wrestler. I would love to get on the Joe Rogan Experience. I'm not there yet, or there's ways to go.
That's like a direct line to the president, and that's kind of scary to think about for me.
Yeah,
just imagine being so connected that you could just like call someone that could call the president, and you can be like, "Yo, dude, what the fuck?"
Yeah, or just how Joe Rogan did just recently get a executive order passed.
That was so insane to me. Like I saw him pass that, and I'm like, that's all it took?
Yeah.
Because people have been struggling to get that passed since the 1930s.
Yeah, or not after Reagan administration.
Well, after Reagan's administration, because like Reagan ruined everything. That should be a quote on this show, I think.
that's our hot topic right there.
Hot topic. Reagan ruined everything, and every episode of EDP should just delve into one reason on why Reagan ruined everything.
Yeah, do you know this date on this day exactly, Reagan did this and that and words and that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's what we're doing instead of the stoicism quotes from now on.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, definitely should be doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarcasm, but
sarcasm. But like the thing is, just like the fact that it took one phone call from Joe Rogan to get that bill passed, just like
a little text message.
A little text message kind of scared me. Scares me.
I think it's badass, low key.
It is low key badass, but it's high too key. Easy.
Yeah. I mean, just showcase his connections are deep. I mean, that's why I'm really trying to harp on trying to gain a lot of access and connections. These last couple of years, I focus on that. Like, I'm going to have this one dude on the pod who hopefully can connect us to another person I would love to get on the podcast is Eddie Alvarez, who's a former lightweight champion or UFC champion, and I believe was Bellator as well. Shout out to David and Tom and Mike and other Mike too. Like, connections are very key. I mean, without these connections, I wouldn't even have the other podcast that we had previously. Like, shout out to Screedy. Like, I just met him through going to the bar.
Shout out for me too, bro.
Yeah, love him to death, and he's still giving a lot of support. I just messaged him not too long ago, and he kept on saying, "Keep it up and get my act together," which I am trying to do. Be patient, but also with Will and Colin, again meeting them with the bar through the bar, and didn't know they did content, and then which. They were very successful with. And then shout out to Colin Rita. Like, he's rebooting Rita, is it Rita Outdoors or Riggin Outdoors? One of those things. I'm so sorry if I'm not getting the name correct off the bat. But he's getting his content up again, and which he will be back on the podcast very soon. And then also Jake Yates, shout out to him. These connections and are very key, especially in this field. And there's a blessing, and hopefully I can gain enough connections to not be equivalent, but like to a point where, I can get myself to Joe Rogan and have certain guests like he had who are specialists and like political science, which we were planning on doing very soon.
I need to ask Joe Rogan about Gerard Way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you ask?
I'm like, okay, I know that they never met before, but I really want to ask is have you I really think it would be interesting if Gerard Way was on one of his episodes.
Yeah, that would be cool. I agree with that.
It's it's one of those things where it's they're perceived as being on completely opposite ends of the political spectrum. So I wonder what debate would come out of it. And it's they're technically family as well. So it's I wonder how that would affect dynamics as well.
Right. I think he talked about being related to him on an episode, but didn't say he had any connection. I could be wrong.
He did say that that they're related, but they don't have any direct connection.
Right. Which just like how you and your and Amy,
or Mayim.
Mayim, yeah. I just think about her. When I look at her, I was like, Amy Fowler.
Yeah. One day, there's a couple of people that don't believe me on that. One day, I swear, I gotta take a selfie with her and then and I just gotta light up my contacts.
Fuck yeah, bro. I hope that comes true. Or just, eat dinner with her and, well, that's where you get the photo. But, it's I'm eating baklava with her.
That'd be awesome.
That is one of my favorite desserts, kid you not.
Baklava?
Yeah, baklava. Wow. It's crazy. There's different ways to pronounce it.
That makes sense. I mean, it's all over the Mediterranean, the Middle East. Yeah. I've always gone with baklava. I
said baklava, and I got scolded for saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I don't want to say the person's name, but
is it?
I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay. I'm curious now. But
I got shit on for it. I was like, wait, I thought it was that, but It is what it is. It is what it is.
I've always heard baklava. That's
Yeah.
always been like the pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I should mention, my grandmother makes it, and it is the best baklava on the planet Earth. Nick can confirm.
You hear that? You hear it? Yeah, it's actually really good. I agree with that. It's really good. I fuck with it. It was the best thing. I was pissed off because I was trying to like lose weight, but like gave me like a freaking Tupperware of that. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I gotta eat it. And I ate it all. It was good. Delicious. I had that with coffee. And that was fucking amazing.
And like,
baklava.
And my grandmother, she is a genius in the kitchen because she can make regular baklava like perfectly, but as well as like she can make gluten-free baklava. As well, because like she can like I don't know how she does it, but she like shaves down pretzels and use that in the and replaces the nuts. Like my grandmother is an amazing cook, and she does things sometimes that I oh my God.
What else did she also made? What else did you give me that she made? Was your mom?
Was
one
it
of your
matzo crack?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But all right. We're going to change the subject a little bit because I'm going to get hungry.
We love food.
Yeah. Yes, we do. You can tell. Anyways, last 3 questions. So beyond your career goals, beyond your career goals, what kind of life do you hope to build for yourself?
What kind of life do I hope to build for myself? I mean, ideally, it's just like, I guess, get married. Like have a family, like have people that I could that look up to me, that I can teach, that I can show things, that I can pass my experience onto, pass my family's teachings onto. And it's like, I mean, I guess that's really anyone's goal. I mean, it's kind of the goal of humanity. But
what about this? Because like you and I had previous conversations about how you look up to your father and grandfather and how they were so influential and kind of aspiring.
I would love to fill their shoes. It's like I would love to be the one, because I always describe it like this. My dad and my grandfather, like they just say things sometimes, and it's like they'll say like something extremely wise, and in the moment you'll hate them for it. Like, you'll hate what they said.
Because how right they are.
Because of how right they are. You'll hate them for it. Yeah. And then like a week or 2 later, you'll be like, damn, you know what? They're actually correct. And then you're like, all right, okay. And it's like, I'd want to be like that kind of like figure for someone. And as well as like, they say a lot of things as well that are like, that you're just kind of like, yeah, that's good. Right. Immediately. But like, the more inflammatory stuff is really what sticks with you. And so they would say, so I'd want to fill that role eventually, because I can feel like it's one of those things where it's like I can feel the strings like pulling me into that role.
Yeah.
And it's like I need to develop the experience to fill it, because I need to be that person for someone one day.
Right. So, with that in mind, like, how do you define success for yourself?
I don't know anymore.
That's real.
I mean, because no matter what, I don't really believe in success. That's
an interesting point of view.
Because we're always talking about how there's things that we need to achieve. And then, but you know what? What happens once we do achieve them? Are we going to just stop? Are there going to be things that, like, are we going to be satisfied? No, we're not.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have more things we need to achieve. Like, we may be a big but like, let's say we're a huge podcast in like 2 months' time.
Right.
Then we have hopefully that'd be nice. But like we have historic AF that we need to build up as well. Yeah. So then that would be our next goal. Yeah. Then what do we do after that? And sorry.
No, I'm just saying. So in your mind, that success is always going to be ongoing.
Success is always ongoing. Success is not an end destination. Okay, I said I don't believe in success, but I kind of changed my I've changed my definition of success. My definition of success is just to keep moving and keeping achieving things. There's no one thing that I'm going to achieve and say, yeah, I'm successful, because I think I'm never going to be able to say I'm successful.
Right. All right. Gotcha. So what impact do you hope your work or just like your presence in life will have on society?
I just kind of hope that my presence kind of uplifts people, because I mean,
it does.
That's good to hear, but it doesn't always feel like it. But at the end of the day, like, I don't really care about being an inflammatory figure. I don't really care about starting controversies. I don't want the drama. I want the success, and I want, like, I want, like, the back pats from it. Like, I want, like, people to achieve things and be like, yeah, that's cool.
Right.
And, like, and I can learn a lot from this.
Right.
Just be an educator and just have something that can teach people or inspire people, or maybe even sometimes piss people off.
Gotcha.
But, like, just, like, I want to do what's necessary.
Okay. What about, I know I said 3 questions, but I'm going to add on to this. Like, how do you want people to remember Bryce?
Well, I guess, like, on my tombstone, it will have Bryce Simon, like historian, writer, father. Like,
I'm talking about, like, when we're not trying to be
morbid,
talking about morbid shit, but, like, when everyone's at your funeral or wake, like, how do you want people talk and discuss about you?
Well, this might sound kind of egotistical, but I want people to be in awe of what I did. I want people to, like, look at what I've done and be like, and, like, see the message that I've lived, see the things that I've achieved in my life, and I want them to pass those things on. I want them to pass those messages on. Because, like, that's the best. You're gonna die one day, and that's the best way to die.
Yeah, I'm into that, for real. And I do agree that you're going to be able to achieve the goals that we just discussed on the podcast, but also conversations that we had off camera. Like, I 100% agree with that. Yeah. And, I hope you see that and witness that. I mean, dude, we're at our 5th episode.
Yep.
And you are going to get your internship. Yeah. And you're going to be successful in the history field. You're going to live the life that you deserve, because you deserve it, Bryce. And I appreciate you being part of my life, and I appreciate being part of Bryce's journey.
Yeah. Some days, Nick, you're the only reason that I wouldn't change going to Rosemount.
Hey, appreciate that. Yeah. Not to be weird or anything, but I love you, bro.
Love you too.
Yeah. But that is the conclusion of the 5th episode of ETP. Another
like
time, Bryce. Yeah, like and subscribe. Another time that Bryce will be jumping on the podcast is when we hit the 21st episode to recap our journey from then on. So.
Yeah, and hopefully by then, who knows what could happen? It's just like, I don't know. Should I set goals for myself for, like, the 21st episode?
Well, up to you. I mean, we're going to figure it out on the way, but
on the way,
that is going to be a future discussion and conversation, and, well, hopefully near future. So, like Bryce said, like and subscribe and follow our Instagram page on Eccentric Talk Podcast. But yeah, thank you.
Know how it is.